So what's good, Team G fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction, man. But for this video, man, I would just want to chill out and talk with y'all. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna watch a video. Don't get me wrong, but this is one of them real tough type of videos, man. You know, it may bring some people to tears when you touch on certain topics like this, man. But I want y'all to know we can always sit down and talk, man. That's the only way we're gonna ever move forward. If we sit down and we talk through these things, we hash out our differences, we communicate, you know, we address tough issues, you know what I mean? And yeah, man, this is one of them. So the title of this video is Mom Finds Her Son's Diary, then discovers his horrifying plans and has to turn him into the police. Now we can all sit back and say, yes, that was the right thing to do. But we cannot negate the fact that that's a hard thing to do. As a parent, to turn your child into the police, it's tough. And if you're sitting here saying, oh, I can do it, then that's you. That's you. And I would kind of question whether or not your love for your child is, because if you don't feel something from that alone, you can't sit here and tell me, bro, otherwise. I would, even though we know what he's done. That's why, like, me and my I think it was my oldest son had that conversation the other day, man. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, you've gotten away with, and I don't mean gotten away with, but you've done things to us that you've gotten in trouble for us that we wouldn't let near another person do out in the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've done things that if it was anybody else, me and that person would probably be either outside fighting, or it would have went past that, or, you know what I mean? You've done some things, as kids tend to do, that other people can't get away with, you know? And even though that they have, it's still because of your love, your deep, unconditional love for them makes it hard for you to turn them in, you know? So we're gonna check out this story, man. Yeah, ladies, fellas, whoever, make sure you got the box of tissues nearby, because this may be a tough one. I'm not sure. I'm just warning you in the beginning to prepare yourself, you know, because these are those tough issues. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, join the family, and moment of silence to acknowledge the haters real quick. That's enough. Now run the likes up and hit that like button. Let's go.
Extreme Trends presents Mom Finds Her Son's Diary, then discovers his horrifying plans and turns him into the police. Before we begin, do us a favor and click that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to be inspired by these heartwarming stories every day. Ever heard of Columbine? It's the name of a city in the United States, yet it's also...
That's the exact story that comes to mind anytime you talk about one of these topics. Why that's the most widely known, that's the most well-known. That was one of the most impactful events that took place and happened in front of our eyes. And, you know, it's now always a reference point. So when I first saw this title, that was the first thing that popped into my mind. Not even knowing where we were going, but that was one of the things that popped into my mind.
Ever heard of Columbine? It's the name of a city in the United States, yet it's also a byword for mass shooting. So, did the Americans name their city with a word used for mass shooting? Of course not. Rather, it's the other way around. The word Columbine got attached to mass shootings after the heart-shattering Columbine High School massacre took place, claiming the lives of 13 people, and the perpetrators were none other than 2 of the school's 12th graders, who took their own lives at the end of the massacre, leaving not just the parents of the other students devastated, but also their own, and making them wonder where they went wrong. However, it did not just end there. The idea inspired many teenagers facing hopelessness, lack of attention, broken ties, and continuous insults. The poor soul chooses this ideology because it involves revenge from society, and then ending their own lives. Such would have been the fate of Nicole's son and many others if she hadn't taken the brave steps that she did. It began when Nicole felt that her son was keeping distance from everyone. He wouldn't talk much and would spend most of his time in his room. He didn't have friends or go on hangouts at the mall, parks, or other entertainment venues like other teenagers his age did. Anyone who has had the opportunity to have a father and a mother would understand how it feels to lose one of them. In this case, the boy had lost his father. The boy adored his father very much, and now he was gone. Nicole, dating another man, was tearing her son from the inside. He couldn't tell his mom in the fear of losing her too. This made him mentally
Whew. Just threw a lot at us right there, didn't they? You know what I mean? And it's tough, man. That mom, she probably did everything she could have, you know? But it's tough to lose a parent, bro. I just lost one last year. And it's still, I have a picture right over there to the side. And oftentimes I find myself going about my day, and if I sit down in this chair and I turn towards, because the TV's on that wall over there. So if I turn towards the TV and I sit back and look at the TV, I look down and her picture's right there. And sometimes it'll choke me up, bro. You know what I'm saying? It chokes me up because she's not here anymore. So, and we all deal with trauma differently. That's why I applaud people who go to therapy, man, and I applaud people who are willing to, you know what I mean, express what they're going through and sit down and speak with someone and address it. You know, a lot of us like to bottle it up, myself included, like to bottle it up and keep going and pack it in and pack it in and pack it in some more and pack it in again and then one day it's just like that bottle that it explodes, bro, because we have to talk about it. And that's one thing I appreciate about Queen, because when I was going through what I was going through, I couldn't, it was hard in that moment, but she kept pulling, you know, talk to me, how you feeling? You know, and although sometimes when you're in it, that may feel like it's annoying because you don't want to speak, but your other significant other is trying to pull it out of you. It may at that moment feel like it's annoying, it's nagging, or it's just, you want to be left alone, you know? She recognized that. And she backed away sometimes, but then sometimes she pressed. And then sometimes she backed away, and then sometimes she pressed. Because she knew ultimately that I needed to speak to somebody, you know, before it got wherever it could have went. So for this mom, you know what I mean? We have to understand, bro, she's dealing with a lot, trying to not only deal with this, but also try to move forward and try to make new memories and but the son is just not budging at all.
from the inside. He couldn't tell his mom in the fear of losing her too. This made him mentally unstable and causing him to shut himself into isolation with just his notebook, fantasizing his revenge and withdrawal from this dreadful society. As his fantasizing grew, his hunger for revenge did too, and finally there came a time when he wanted to go through with it. At first, like any potential terrorist, he realized that it's not easy to get your hands on firearms. This caused him to research some more until he hit the most dangerous story, a story which would always be hidden from dejected teenagers, the Columbine Massacre. This story became his ideology instantly, and not only that, but it also gave him ideas on how to build bombs and other explosives at home himself.
Knowing what our kids are into, and I know that's hard sometimes because you juggle that whether or not you want to be the parent. Sometimes we get caught up trying to be the friend. Sometimes we try to get caught up in being the person that they can come to. You're trying to balance all those different things, right? You don't want your kids to hate you, so you try to give them as much, you know, leeway as you can. You know, it's tough finding that balance. There's no manual on this thing called life and being a parent. There's no manual on this where you can say, this is how I'm supposed to do it today on this day of the year. I got my parenting almanac. So this year in May, we got to do this on this day and each day. It's none of that. It's none of that, fam. Doing the best that you can. So we have to kind of figure out ways and be on top of things to know what they're into, know what they're looking at, know what they're watching, know what they're studying, know what they're, you know, on those computers doing, you know? You have to, or something like this can start to happen.
but it also gave him ideas on how to build bombs and other explosives at home himself. However, to make the massacre classy and ironic, and to make himself remembered, he decided to do it on the date on which the Columbine Massacre itself occurred, and thus named it as the 21st anniversary of the Columbine Massacre. After all, what caused him sadness was the lack of attention, and this would get him plenty of it. But unfortunately for him, he stumbled across something unavoidable. Two inescapable things. First is the judgment of God, and the second is the love of a mother. Nicole was worried about her son's withdrawal from society. She wanted him to hang out with friends, play sports, and take part in activities, but her son would mostly avoid everyone and would just sit in his room. After making countless efforts to talk to her child, she finally decided to see what he indulged in so much that he wouldn't do anything else. Well, sadly, her haunting discovery turned her world upside down in just mere seconds. One day, after her son went to his school, Nicole decided to check out her son's room. There she came across something terrifying, a notebook full of deranged acts. Everything was written down by her little boy, plans of mass murder, leaving no survivors and even murdering his mother. Nicole was utterly shocked. It seemed as if the devil was speaking directly.
Dang. Now you're like, how do I sleep down the hall from him? What do I? And then it starts to set in. And I have to contact this is when it gets real. You found it now. What are you gonna do? This is when the decision of this is rough. What am I gonna do now? If you had a spouse, but his dad is gone. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure how far along into the new relationship she was. That's probably not something that she may feel comfortable discussing with the new person. I don't know if they're there yet in that relationship. So ultimately, it's on you. It's basically on you. Man, I'm literally gonna have to contact the police on my child. It's not easy. That's not easy, bro. That's not easy. Now, I'm not saying you won't ultimately come to that conclusion, but I'm just saying it's not easy.
And even murdering his mother. Nicole was utterly shocked. It seemed as if the devil was speaking directly through the notebook. She knew that the boy was going through a tough time, but she had never imagined that it had turned into such a bad state. Nicole went and sat near the telephone, wondering if she can report her son, her very own blood. The decision was
sat next to the telephone, bro. I knew she didn't just do it. Sat next to the telephone, even though it said in there that he was gonna kill you. I told you, it's not that easy, bro. Even if I read he wanted to kill me, I still would have reservations and be slow to pick that phone up. Not saying I'm not gonna do it. It's gonna take me a minute. It's my flesh and blood. It's mine. And I ultimately take full responsibility for any way he's behaving or conducting himself. I ultimately blame me because I say it's something I did wrong or something I didn't do or it's something I could have done or it's something, you know what I'm saying?
Sat near the telephone, wondering if she can report her son, her very own blood. The decision was extremely tough on her. She just sat and contemplated for a while, trying to fight her maternal instincts to make the right decision. Then, alas, Nicole picked up the phone. Bursting into tears, she hesitantly called 911. What a courageous woman. On the 17th of September in 2019, her son was arrested after he returned home from school. What she did was indeed the bravest thing one could do as a woman and as well a mom. The struggle she had to go through while making the decision could be seen in the interview she gave to a news channel, in which she couldn't hold in her tears. In her position, a normal traditional mom would have not reported to the cops to save her kin, but Nicole did a favor to humanity, disregarding all her maternal instincts.
We ain't even talk about that aspect of it. The aspect of the people who wouldn't have done it. Don't think it's people out there that wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? At one point in time, I probably wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have. And then when it happened, I'd have beat myself up about it because I could have prevented it. You know, I wasn't that mature. I wasn't at that stage in my life where I would have done it. Because again, it's like he said, my own flesh and blood, man. Ultimately, I'm ruining the life. I'm taking his life is how I would have thought back then. I'm not turning my child into the cops. I can fix this. I can fix this. I got it. I can fix this. If I do this, I do that, I can fix this. You know what I mean? I got it. I got it. I can fix this. That's what I would have thought. not knowing that in all this time, I haven't been able to fix it. And at this point, I need to step in and do something before people die.
And this was the right thing to do, as any pressure or punishment from the mother herself would have had disastrous consequences. At least now he will get professional help, which is integral for people suffering from mental illness. Not just that, due to Nicole's heroic actions, she saved the school from a potential massacre. She is indeed a true hero, as deemed by the cops and, as well, the school. At the end, where we show the world all kinds of benefits of the internet, we also ought to show this side of the internet too. Proper parental supervision can stop kids from having access to such incidents and information that might instigate something evil inside of them. It allows previous massacres to be repeated and new dark ideals to be formed. If it wasn't for the courageous mother, this would have been another massive massacre. Such incidents shouldn't be exposed to the weak-minded. They should either be hidden or should be told with supervision and proper guidance, since it just burns the fire of revenge in the hearts of the distressed. Thank you for watching. Tap one of the 2 videos on your screen.
Yeah, man, that's tough. And she is a true hero. But I bet if you go and talk to her, at that time, she probably didn't even feel like a hero. I know I wouldn't have. No, man, I just ultimately had to have my son arrested. I wouldn't have felt like I was no hero. Even though I was, and I saved so many lives and I did the right thing, at that moment, I wouldn't have felt like it. I'd have felt horrible. I'd have felt like a lot of things. A bad parent. I'd have felt like, what did I just do? I would have also thought, man, when he gets out, he's coming for me. If he was willing to do that to all those people and me, and I just did this to him, oh, he's coming for me. Like, I'd have felt so many different emotions, man. You could see it in her face in that interview, and though we couldn't hear her, you already knew what she was talking about, You already know how she felt inside. And that's tough, man. Again, certain things we don't think about when we're wanting to have children, man, that we could be presented with, And unfortunately, this is an incident that she didn't see coming. She didn't foresee coming. Scary. It is scary, man. So that's why when you see parents like me who don't take parenting for granted, who are real up on their kids, who are really like, hey man, what you doing? What you on? Pop up. What you got? What you doing? This, that, and the third. And although it annoys them a lot, I have reason for it, man. I want to know, and I'm very hard on y'all. It's a reason for that. So, but I appreciate y'all, man. I like to sit down and have these conversations every now and then with y'all, man, because it ain't always about just scary stories, or it ain't always about just police stuff or whatever it is that we look at, man. Sometimes we got to sit down and talk about things in life, man. And that's the reason why I always call y'all fam, man, because it's family. Although we have fun and we kick it and we chill and we watch all kind of extravagant things, every now and then we got to sit down and have those real conversational moments. You know what I'm saying? And the old me, the less mature me would avoid these type of conversations. My maturity now allows me to have these conversations, and I like to have them with y'all. For those of you that don't mind sitting and kicking it with me like this. So I appreciate y'all for that, and this could help somebody. You never know. So y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what you think, and stick around and stay tuned to the next reaction. I'm out. Peace, y'all. Stay solid. Hey.